Hey, what's up guys, Ras here, and welcome back to another boss guide for Classic World of Warcraft. This week we'll be doing a quick concise guide for the 4th boss of Molten Core featuring Garr. And to start things off, first we need to understand the boss abilities to watch out for, and then after that, the strategies for completing the encounter. So the Firesworn are the 8 smaller elementals surrounding Garr with abilities of their own. The first ability is Immolate, which is a damage over time effect that they place on their target, which deals moderate fire damage and can also be dispelled or cleansed. And next, keep in mind that the Firesworn explode when they're killed, which does a heavy amount of AoE damage and knocks players very far back. So the most important thing to know about this is that your raid needs to carefully communicate on when they're about to die and where's a good place to kill them, which won't affect the rest of the raid, because a bad explosion could cause a raid wipe. And something else to remember is that for every Firesworn killed during the fight, this will increase Garr's overall damage. Which is why it's very important that you assign your Warlocks to banish as many targets as possible to keep those elementals out of the fight until Garr is dead. And finally, make sure to never move the ads too far away from Garr, because this gives them a buff called Separation Anxiety, which essentially causes them to enrage and become immune to CC effects. So now let's cover Garr very quickly. He only has 2 abilities that we really need to know about for this fight. The first is Anti-Magic Pulse, which will gradually dispel buffs from everyone around him, so consider placing minor buffs like underwater breathing on your raid, so those have a chance to get used up first rather than your most important ones. And the other ability is Magma Shackles, which Garr will use on players around him that heavily reduces their movement speed, which just makes it difficult to move around during the fight. But now that we've got the abilities out of the way, let's start covering the strats on how to kill Garr, and today I'll cover the basic strategy and advanced strategy as well. So the basic strategy is the same one the guilds would use back in vanilla, and basically you would bring 3 to 4 Warlocks to banish half the ads for the entire fight. With the remaining elementals, your off tanks would pick these up and put them in a good place to be killed by your DPS, while your main tank is tanking Garr nearby. Once those elementals are dead, then your raid will go ahead and focus on Garr, and then once he's down, go ahead and take care of the banished elementals one by one. And just keep in mind guys, that if your raid has issues keeping the banished elementals under control, then you can always kill every single ad before starting on Garr. Just remember that this will fully power up the boss and make it harder on the main tank and healers. So now let's go over the advanced strategy. So this is for experienced guilds that want to improve their clear times in Molten Core. And basically the objective of this strategy is to kill Garr first and as fast as possible. So the way that this works is that you'll need to have your main tank hold all aids to the Firesworn in the corner while your DPS quickly burns Garr down. And keep in mind guys that on current private servers, once Garr's health reaches 50%, then the ads will start exploding randomly if they're unbanished. So just remember that this mechanic could be different in Classic, or it could be the same as well. Now the problem is that this is very healing intensive for the Firesworn tank, just due to the damage they'll be taking, and using defensive cooldowns like Shield Wall and Last Stand is an absolute must. Once Garr is down, then focus on cleaning up the ads. So this is a very fast strategy for killing Garr, but overall the most dangerous if something goes wrong. And your guild may need gear from Blackmoon Lair or AQ40 to make it work, but I definitely do not recommend doing this during progression. And with that pretty much wraps up the guide for Garr, so I hope the information has helped you guys out, and as always, thank you guys for watching to the end, and stay tuned for more to come. I'll see you next time, take care.